Final Fantasy XII, we're back to single-player RPGs after a visit to the massively multiplayer online world of 11. 12 takes place in the world of Evilus, where two huge empires are at war with the smaller kingdom of Dalmasca stuck in between.
You're well informed.
Evilus is the world from Final Fantasy Tactics and Vagrant Story. I really need to play Vagrant Story sometime, but us Europeans never actually got a release of Tactics till it came to the PSP a year after Final Fantasy XII. So going into 12, I didn't have the nostalgia or experiences with Evilus that North Americans and Japanese players grew up with, but I still thought Final Fantasy XII was good.
Some things never change, do they?
12 is heavily influenced or inspired by Star Wars, and I'll talk more on that later. We play the main character.
It's Vaan.
He's an orphan with dreams of becoming a sky pirate, and he's accompanied by Peneole, but there's genuinely not very much to say about her. Thing is, 12's other characters are far more interesting and badass. Bash is a disgraced knight, falsely imprisoned for regicide.
I know something of cages.
Ash, a princess in hiding, fighting to free her kingdom.
Who would be next?
Fran's a bunny girl, or Viera, one of Evilus's many different races. She's left her homeland to explore the world.
Your point?
And my personal favourite, Balthier, a sky pirate with a sharp tongue, a bit of a past, and he likes to consider himself the actual main character. And he's not entirely wrong.
I play the leading man. Who else?
But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Vaan and Peneole. Across the journey of Final Fantasy XII, these two can be a little frustrating, and it often feels like we're babysitting them. And that seems to be a view shared with the rest of 12's crew.
Don't interrupt me, Vaan.
Nice fun.
Surprisingly rude.
Too. You want to see what they think about it?
I wouldn't be...
While Vaan is the main character, Final Fantasy XII kind of subverts the idea of the hero's journey. Other characters like Ash are the true political centre of the story. But we're thrown into this political story with two huge empires clashing. We're on the side of Dalmasca, this little kingdom in the middle. And it's up to our heroes to change the fate of Evilus.
We must avoid a wasting war with the Empire at all cost.
Previously, the Final Fantasy series has had political elements, like 7's betrayal of capitalism and corporate power, but Final Fantasy XII takes it to the next level, and is quite a bit more politically focused. We've got power struggles, rebellions, and kingdoms under occupation. Ultimately, the Empire of Arcadian has occupied Dalmasca, and we're fighting for its freedom. Speaking of taking it to the next level, consider subbing to Peter Bytes or liking the video for more content like this. Cover lots of RPGs, you might like my Final Fantasy series, where I'm replaying them all and ranking them against each other as I go. Thank you.
Exit stage right.
When it comes to gameplay, 12 completely does away with those random encounters that have been in every single player Final Fantasy to this point. We instead fight monsters as they are, roaming about the world in real time.
I like it better that way.
Gameplay is a little weird. You can manually command every little action of your party members, but it's 1,000 times more efficient to set up Gambits instead. With Gambits, you need to program your characters by almost writing lines of pseudocode. If a party member's health is less than 50%, then start curing them with magic. And you can customize or build your characters through the license board system, which you fill in by earning ability points from defeating enemies. License boards are a pretty solid system, but there was one other feature that didn't come to the original game. There's the international version of the game, originally Japanese exclusive until we got the HD remaster on PlayStation 4. In the International or Zodiac Age versions of the game, the classic Final Fantasy job system returns. Each character can be assigned 2 jobs like Black Mage, Monk or Knight, and their license boards will adjust to be relevant to those roles. This new job system adds way more variety and strategy to party building and character customization.
Our ranks grow by the hour.
And our troubles with them.
Evilus has tons of different regions and areas to explore. You've got wider open zones, smaller and tighter broken up sections, and some more complex dungeons. There are some side quests to find, they're quite easy to miss, there's no exclamation marks above characters' heads, and there's no quest journal tracking everything for you. It's the complete opposite of how modern RPGs do things. But honestly, I think I prefer side quests the old school way. Discovering side quests feels more organic, and you'll have to actually think for yourself instead of working through checklists. But I think Final Fantasy XII's best feature that ties into its world is the hunt system. Basically, you pick up bounties at the inn, then go off the beaten track to find and hunt these notorious monsters. Some of these monsters can only be found under certain conditions, like particular weather effects. Maybe the hunt will only appear when other monsters have been cleared away, and there was one where I had to wait around for 5 minutes for the hunt to show itself. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of 12's regions from a technical stance. It feels a bit repetitive with very similar regions, and you end up ploughing through endless monsters. You're even incentivized to kill tons of monsters with chain kill bonuses that give extra loot. But I think the hunt system is a huge win for Final Fantasy XII, and that feature alone really levels up 12's world. There's quite a few optional hunts to do alongside the main story, and later you can get quite an extensive endgame with lots of tough hunts to complete.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And on the topic of the world of Evilus, I want to talk about summons, or this time Espers. Thing is, these aren't the classic Final Fantasy summons like Ifrit, Shiva and Bahamut. Instead, the Empire of Arcadia has an Imperial fleet, and many of its advanced airships are named after those classic Final Fantasy summons.
The Ifrit, eh? That's quite an entrance.
As for the actual summons you can summon in 12, they're completely new to the mainline Final Fantasy series. These Espers are based on twisted versions of the Zodiac signs. You'll unlock 5 during the main story, and you can earn another 8 through side content. They're quite gritty and dark, but I've got to be honest, I am biased, I do much prefer the classics. The classic Final Fantasy summons have the advantage of being refined over the years, and they just feel so much more iconic. The Espers are created by the Okuria, and we learn later these are gods that like to manipulate events within the background of Evilus. But something new I really like in Final Fantasy XII are the judges.
A judge's duty is to the law.
Judges look completely badass, donning heavy knight armor. They're led by elite judge magisters that serve the Arcadian Empire. Their personality projects through into their armor designs. They look a bit like Dark Knights from older Final Fantasy games, and they just look so awesome. Judges are all about serving the Empire, commanding military forces, and enforcing the Empire's law.
If you ask me, they're more executioners than judges.
So the Empire are the bad guys, and they've got their judges, but our main antagonist is Vayne. He's a more complex, intelligent, and charismatic character. He strives for humanity's freedom, and while his ideals are good and noble, he's willing to commit atrocities to achieve his ideals.
Why don't you call me Vayne?
Admittedly, Vayne doesn't make the best final boss in the series. I felt a bit more invested in one of the judges' personal stories, Judge Gabranth.
I am Judge Magister.
Who looks a bit like Star Wars' Darth Vader. My personal favourite story moment is when Judge Gabranth has his Darth Vader-like moment and turns on the main antagonist.
Even a stray has pride.
Now the series often has little nods to Star Wars, like the reoccurring duo of characters, Biggs and Wedge, but Final Fantasy XII takes that inspiration to the next level. It's very heavily influenced or inspired by Star Wars. From the politics to the Empire versus the Rebels. You've got massive warships. They might aesthetically look like spaceships, but they're just airships. Judges feel like Imperial officers. They're imposing, they're ruthless, and when these judges are strolling about, I can almost hear Darth Vader's Imperial March in my mind. You've even got Judge Gabranth's Darth Vader moment where he turns on his master in a powerful moment, just like Star Wars. The list of similarities is endless, but I don't consider it to be a bad thing. Final Fantasy XII reinterprets a lot of Star Wars' themes in a way that fits the fantasy world of Evilus. It feels a lot more like a tribute that helps add more layers to the story. And to be honest, the politics, world and writing is probably Final Fantasy XII's finest point. First time through 12, I thought it was pretty good, but it didn't grab me in the same way as the previous few Final Fantasies did. I think the politics and more mature story was a bit harder to appreciate first time through as a teenager. I think the way the characters dialogue and express themselves has leveled up even from Final Fantasy X, which was in the same generation.
I kinda agree with him.
Like, there's this one little scene I like, where without saying a word, Vaan looks to Balthier for advice. I don't think I've seen anything expressed at that kind of level in the series till now.
Come on. What do you think?
Alright, time to rank Final Fantasy XII with the rest of them. Like I said, I've always had positive memories of 12. I think it's good, but even with my new appreciation of its political mature storytelling, I personally found it a bit double-edged. It didn't quite hit as hard or emotionally as some of the previous games, maybe a side effect of being more political. It definitely does have some emotional moments. My personal favourite is Judge Gobron's Darth Vader moment, but I wanted more. As someone with a bit of background in game development and programming, I quite like the idea of being able to effectively program my characters with pseudocode. But again, it's a little bit double-edged because with good Gambits, the game kinda just plays itself. Customization with the license board and Zodiac job system is good, it's decent. The hunt system is great side content. It's quite in-depth with hunting big bad optional bosses in endgame. I really like the judges and the political disputes, while to be honest, I probably could have done without our main character Vaan and Peneole. I'd 100% much rather have more of our 4 other characters, Balthier, Ash, Bash and Fran. I think their stories were far more interesting. I'm going to place 12 just below Final Fantasy VIII, it's smack bang in the middle. Overall I thought 12 was a good game. Love the mature political elements and the hunt system, but I generally prefer the characters' storytelling, more emotional moments, or gameplay in that arc of Final Fantasy 6 to 10. Alright, Final Fantasy 13 next time. Probably going to be a bit of a controversial one. Alright, have a good one.